So I don't start my presentation till people give me a round of applause. So can I hear a round of applause for me? I'm very manipulative that way. So I'm Huzefa Rangwala, co-founder of Muse Lab, actually when I was asked to fly down here for a 15-minute talk, and I hope it's 15 minutes because every time that buzzer hears, I feel like I'm part of Squid Games. And I was very clearly told that I'm not supposed to talk about my work. So I was kind of in a soup, I mean, you're telling an architect not to talk about his work, so what do I talk about? And that's when I was like, okay, I will come on stage and I will talk about something interesting. I will talk about the DNA of a design studio. I think that's something that we never really talk about. So, and don't be mad at me because I really don't have any slides. I'm going to talk because I've written a lot over here, under 15 minutes though. I'm going to try to be as funny as I can. I'm going to try to keep you awake. It might get a little serious in between. The front benchers make notes, the back benchers, you can throw paper planes. I'll join you guys shortly. What I'm going to do is that, there's a video that I want to play. And I'm going to play 3 videos through the course of this conversation. Can I have the first video, please? Very quickly, actually this video marks the celebration of 10 years of completing our practice, Muse Lab, and it's about Muse Lab 2.0 and we are kind of unboxing it slowly. The 2 pieces of furniture that you saw are also part of our furniture collection. So I'm sure there's a whole bunch of you guys over here who either run your own practices or there are a lot of budding architects who actually want to start your own practice at some point in time. Either ways, it is really important to, first identify your DNA, to understand it, and then obviously, introduce it to the right kind of people, the people that form your tribe. And I strongly believe that, your studio DNA has a lot to do with your socio-cultural and regional background. It has a lot to do with your academic interests and affiliations. It has a lot to do with your personality, your ambitions, your experience within and outside of the industry, and your love for what you do. So, for me, a design studio DNA essentially dictates or influences 4 key elements, and I'm just going to very quickly go through those 4 elements. The practice, the projects, the process, and obviously the people. I will be taking cues and references from my journey with Muse Lab and my experience as a founding partner when I'm elaborating on these pointers. So when I talk about the practice, and of course it's also our practice, right? We are not a factory. We are not an office or an atelier. We are a lab. We are a laboratory where there is research and development, and it's an ongoing assignment for everyone who works with Muse Lab. It's a lab where every day is fun and exciting. We enjoy working at our office in daylight, so we work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we are out of office by then. We are a boutique design firm. We intend to stay small because we want to maintain our creative bandwidth. We have an open office without cabins or a conference room. We have breakout spaces, discussion areas, a lounge, a library for books and materials, and the most amazing little pantry where you get some fantastic coffee. So this is the DNA of our practice. It is experimental and it is very curious, just like us. The next point I would like to talk about is our projects. We enjoy design, period. You tell us to design anything, and we will do it. We might be unsuccessful, but we will definitely give it a shot. We believe that design is all about problem solving, as do most of you guys in this room. And hence we consider each project to be nothing but a problem that can be solved creatively. And which is why when I was introduced also, our projects, they range in various scales from accessories like coasters and modular wine racks to installations and public toilet prototypes. We've actually created an algal microforest for the Amsterdam Light Festival. We've designed lights, we've designed furniture collections. It's devoid of typology. So we've done a lot of interiors and architecture projects. We've designed concrete wash basins to Channapatna toys. I can go on, and I'm not trying to show off. I'm just trying to explain that the idea is to design projects that are not driven by scale, typology, or an ism in architecture. And this is the DNA of our projects. It is diverse and it is driven by passion, just like us. I'm just going to take a little break and play the second video. Can you? Thanks. So this is our studio, guys. That's Jojo, by the way. So I'll come to the other 2 points, and I have 8 minutes. The process. So we're sticklers for process. We strictly adhere to it. The project brief is our guiding principle. It is our source of motivation and inspiration. We use intuitive and traditional methods of analysis to identify the tangible and the intangible. We of course have a very, very systematic process of concept, schematics, design development. And the idea is to design and draw and make our construction document set so strong that even before we break ground, the client, the contractor, and the architect clearly know what the project is going to look like and how much it's going to cost, of course, within that timeline. So this is the DNA of our process. It is very structured and very organized, just like us. And finally, the people. We look at ourselves, both Jassim and I, we look at ourselves as mentors and not bosses. We don't hire employees who work for us. Instead, we appoint designers who work with us. We work on first name basis, so no sirs, no madams, no nothing. Everyone is entitled to have an opinion, and why not? We've all studied, gone through 5 years of rigorous training as architects. Or interior designers, there are no CAD monkeys in our office. Everyone designs and details and drafts. I draft myself. I still do working drawings, and I thoroughly enjoy it. There is no hierarchy, but there is tremendous mutual respect. We believe in a work-life balance, and we do advocate mental health at our workplace. We are aware of each other's. We are aware of each of our designers' long-term and short-term goals, and we enjoy each other's companionship, which is why we did, after the first lockdown, we shut our office and we took everyone in our studio for a 11-day trip to Meghalaya, because we just needed that time to bond after having worked virtually, for like 7 to 8 months. So we are mad, but we are very methodical, and hence there is a method to our madness. And this is the DNA of our tribe, our people. It is inclusive and sensitive, yet ambitious and crazy, just like us. So guys, the motive of today's conversation was not to glorify our DNA. The motive was to ask each one of you who's running your own studios to identify your DNA. It's already there. You need to simply figure it out and introduce it to your family, and by that I mean your studio. I met Dhaval this morning and in our conversation he got to know that I'm hitting 43 this year, and he was like, whoa, what do you do? And I was like, all thanks to my parents who lent me their good genes, their amazing DNA. So thank you so much for bearing me for the last 10 minutes. You guys have been great listeners, and you'll definitely have patience in your DNA. On a closing note, let's just play the last video. This is actually the favorite of my lot. I've gotta be me. I've gotta be me. What else can I be but what I am? I've gotta be me. I've gotta be me. Daring to try to do it or die. I've gotta be me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. We are now open to question and answers. Anybody who wants to ask him any question related to the DNA of a design studio may please come forward and ask him.
Wanted to know how he's looking so young at 43.
I think it's not tabla enthusiast, I'm a tabata enthusiast.
Okay. And I'm 44, so when you said 43, I was like, oh God.
No, that's why I said that, not tabla enthusiast, I'm a tabata enthusiast. So I do try to work out.
Any other questions?
I just want to say one more thing, sorry. So the chandelier that you see at the end, at the last video, that actually was our DNA. It's actually a double helix. So the first thing that you see when you enter a studio. And we worked with someone who was working with us in our office, and he started his own practice, and we called him on board to collaborate with him, and he created this magic for us. So I think we've just been like very, very, very good parents to everyone who sort of has worked with Muse Lab and stepped out to do something on their own. Sorry.
Hi, Chitu here. I'm a huge fan of your work on Instagram, and I think my mentor Anna too is a huge fan of your work. A question I have for you is, how does your collaborative process work with other design labs? Like, for example, I think I came across a project you're coming up with SG Sattler, Sarah? Yeah, so how does your collaborative process with other designers work? Is that effortless, stressful, happy? How does it work? How much timeline do you put on that?
No, I think collaboration comes with the very fact that you need to have mutual respect for your collaborator. You need to ensure that you're not stepping into that person's creative space. At the end, you only collaborate with people where you know that there is going to see each one has their strengths, right? Like I know that when I collaborate with Sarah, or when Muse Lab collaborates with Esaji's atelier, there is a certain strength, a certain expertise that her office or her studio brings into the project. And I think that it's very important to sort of, I would say, derive those thresholds or understand those thresholds. And then it becomes, then everyone's working for the project and not like, I mean, otherwise there could be ego clashes when collaborations happen. And I think that that's something that we have to be very mindful of, which is why even within our office, we collaborate with everyone in the studio. I mean, people bring in a new set of expertise to the studio, whether you're young, old. I'm the oldest in my studio, I think respect and trust is very important.
Okay, Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Sorry? Any clone? No, I don't know. I think, so I'll just tell you, like, basically, when it is the Muse Lab DNA, right? It's not just mine. And if you look at me and if you look at my partner, we both are very different. Like, I'm like the anxious guy, the guy who's like always out here. He's the guy who wants to sort of be in the office and not be out here, but he's my punching bag, he calms me down, but I'm always like, I want everything as of yesterday, so we balance each other out. So I don't know. I'm sure there are many offices, many studios who are pretty much functioning like how we do, because whenever we put up a post on social media, and that's like our only way to, know everyone these days, unfortunately. But we always get like, oh, we did this, we did that. So I think it's interesting. So I don't know if we've cloned, but I guess in some way we are inspiring a few people.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, thank you. So now I invite on stage engineer. Oh, sorry.
Give me an intelligent answer. How the heck did you beat the buzzer?
I think
No.
I'll help you with that. I'm just gonna go there and destroy that buzzer.
All right. So now I invite on stage engineer Babu Varghese, project director, Lulu Mall, to kindly give the memento to Mr. Rangwala. So please.